The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
And for the fans, we were supposed to have Greg along with Tito in studio.
Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Greg the Hammer Valentine,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, Mr. Valentine's spouse
Yes.
came down ill
Yes.
the day of the event.
Yep.
And we just have Tito, which is fine with me.
We've got one of the greatest intercontinental champions. Is this the belt?
This is the belt.
Ever.
Tito once told me a story, right? Can you tell that story about the original Intercontinental belt that you trashed in your basement?
You did what?
It's to me, this was the most celebrated belt, the IC belt, the original from the beginning. And I defeated Greg the Hammer Valentine in a cage match, and then Valentine beat up the belt, bent it, kind of tore it apart. It was barely hanging together with the leather, the metal. I won the belt, so I kept it. And they ordered another belt, and I have a gym in my basement, and I threw the belt, on the gym floor, and it was in the same spot for about 10 years. And I would say, that's junk. I finally threw it away in the garbage. If I could kick myself in the butt, I would, but I can't.
Well, here's the thing. You told me that story, and I found out where you lived. I went in your garbage, and look what I found.
Yeah. What a yoke.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking? This is the belt.
How much
my
do you
God.
think, just let's play hypotheticals, if you would have kept that belt
no, here
in
we
today's market, what you could have sold that belt for?
I would say a minimum of $50,000.
Minimum,
yeah.
without a doubt.
God.
And your cat Muffy used to piddle on it in the basement? I mean, what are we talking here?
Well, no, because we didn't have any pets. So it was just me and my gym, and I just got tired of looking at it, and
Stupid old belt.
oh my God! But no, who was collecting wrestling stuff
Right.
back then?
Right.
Nobody
Right.
was collecting.
It took the route of a classic comic book and went right in the garbage. That's unbelievable.
Thank God he didn't have the first Superman.
Yeah,
What is this crap? Throw this out.
He's close, though. He's got the Intercontinental
But
title.
in all
I mean,
seriousness, I got to be honest with you. This was the coolest belt ever,
Yeah,
man.
it was the coolest
That was
belt.
so
Yeah.
cool, that belt.
Yeah.
Like, who made the decision like, oh, we need a new belt. This thing's no good anymore.
Well, the decision was made by Greg Valentine that he.
Oh, he legitimately just decided he wanted to destroy it one day?
No. He destroyed it on his own. Nobody told him to destroy it. He destroyed.
He just destroyed it.
Valentine's not all there, even now.
Wow.
So he just.
He did a shoot on the belt?
He did a shoot. He was upset because he lost the belt. I don't think he wanted to lose the belt, and he lost it. And he, that's what he wanted to hand over to me, and a piece of garbage. And they made a beautiful belt, but it never compared to this belt.
So were you like, hey, Greg, like in the locker room, like, yo, man, what are you doing? You just destroyed this. This is the best belt ever.
Well, and Greg says he kicks himself in the ass because he didn't keep the belt.
Yeah. You know what? The old champion could have kept, like, if they wanted to replace it, they gave it to Greg, and
Right.
that dude would have been cruising around with the green belt making lots of money.
Yeah, he would.
Wow.
Yeah.
So deep down, what'd you think of the new design? It was like, this thing's a piece of crap, or were you like,
Well, no.
maybe eventually I'll get the belt in my basement fixed, or?
At the moment, to be honest with you, that was a heavy belt. You could
Okay.
feel the weight on it, and it felt like a real belt.
Okay.
And the new belt had a different weight to it. It just it didn't seem like it was real compared to that one.
Fans are saying you look like you could wrestle today.
Well, I think I'm going to wrestle Saturday.
we
So
go.
Are you kidding?
I haven't wrestled in about 2.5 years, but I'm going to strap the boots on one more time and
Really?
see what happens. I don't know.
See what happens. Wait a minute.
I stay in pretty good shape. I work out. I do my cardio and I lift pretty regular. but I haven't been in the ring, so I don't know how the body's going to hold up. But
I'm,
the
I'm
fans want to see me, and I'm gonna give it a shot.
I think you're going to do pretty well, actually.
Thank you.
So, first question. Greg was supposed to be here. This was one of our questions, so you're just going to have to answer it. Who was the better Intercontinental Champion?
Ooh, Tito or Greg?
Yeah.
Wow.
Without a doubt, Tito Santana.
There we go.
Wow.
Boy, he didn't even have to
And Tito
think.
puts himself over.
He
big time.
should. He should. He was more athletic than Greg.
Wow.
He was. He was more exciting. He
The
was
man knows how to wrestle.
right.
Still.
Great matchup
And-
though,
and-
right? As
and-
far
and-
as
and what do you call it? Wrestling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Greg was a fighter. You know, Greg was like a pit bull. He was a, you know, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He was a fighter. He would keep coming at you, you know, and if you didn't fight back, he'd eat you up.
is he like the perfect opponent for you in some ways because he's the opposite of you, your style?
I think he was, you know, but I would get home at, you know, at nights, and I would tell my wife, I've had easier street fights than you know, matches with
Right.
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Right.
I mean, we were bruised up, you know, and he'll tell you himself. I mean, we used to beat the crap out of each other in the ring, you know, and that's why the fans really bought into our feud that we had. We had the longest feud in the history of the WWF at the time, but it's because the fans, you know, I had surgery on my knee. It was taped. It was shown to the fans, and then the matches that followed, you know, the fans bought into the whole thing, and we used to give them a show and beat the crap out of each other, and they wouldn't get enough. They wanted to see, you know, what was next.
Would you consider that one of the top 10 rivalries in the history of wrestling? Forget about the WWE history of wrestling.
I would say it's one of the top 10. You know, I was a wrestling fan when I became a wrestler. Before I wasn't a wrestling fan, and I saw a lot of great matches, a lot of great feuds. You know, Wahoo McDaniel had some great feuds. Chief Jay Strongbow had some great feuds. There was a lot of great feuds in professional wrestling, but I would put our feud on top of many others.
Would you say that Greg was the perfect opponent at the perfect time, all things considering? And whose idea was it to book you two together in the first place? Or was it Vince?
Well, I guess everybody knows a lot of our business has been exposed. The person who really messed up my knee was Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff
Ooh.
in Erie, Pennsylvania. And the next day, we were going to have a taping in Brantford, Ontario, and my knee popped, and Andre the Giant helped me get to my room because I couldn't walk on both legs. And I walked into the meeting room in Brantford, Ontario the next day with crutches, and I told Vince, I can't go. And I said, but if you want to do some kind of an angle, I can tape my knee up pretty good. And I said, I'd like to get something out of this injury. And that's when they knew that I was going to need a surgery. And they didn't trust Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff because he would lose it and he would tell everybody off. And, he was a different level.
But let me ask you on a personal basis, right? You're injured. You're like, hey, we'll do this gimmick where I lose. And like you said, they didn't want to go with Orndorff. But in your mind, were you thinking, man, Orndorff is really hot right now in the territory. I want to work with him. I can make a lot of cash feuding with Orndorff.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to have done some kind of a feud with Paul Orndorff because we had matches without us having a feud, and he got so much heat in the match that a lot of that was the only time, the only opponent I ever had where fans jumped into the ring
Wow.
and jumped on Paul's back to help me out as he was getting heat on me and as I was selling. So it was a natural, thing. We resembled it. We both looked like athletes. We used to go in there and just, it was my match with Mr. Wonderful was a different type of match than I had with Greg the Hammer Valentine. With Mr. Wonderful, it was I would say 50 wrestling and then a fight in the ring. And with Valentine, I would say 80% fight and 20% wrestling. It was a different style, and I think at the time the fans enjoyed the wrestling the most, but Valentine and I really clicked together, and we just